Hi, this is Ernie. I'm that guy who had 6,000 in his checking account to now having millions of dollars. Yeah, too much glare. Um, Somebody actually asked me, "Are you half black, half Asian? Because you're really, really dark." No, it's I've been playing pickleball outside so much that I think I'm getting really tanned, and it might also be the lighting as well. But anyway, today I want to talk about how to invest in stocks or ETFs. Because a lot of people are asking, hey, I have the money, but I don't know how to pick. And you're not the only one. When I first started, I didn't know where to invest. And I'm going to tell you a story later on, like crazy story that you might not even believe. But today I want to talk about how to invest in stocks. Like, what do I need to look for? So that you'll be able to replicate what I do, not necessarily follow what I do, because you might have a different risk profile than I do, different understanding of it, about stocks and investing than I do, but sharing my approach so that hopefully you'll be able to do something similar that's more suitable for you, or you could just follow mine as well. But my recommendation is always listen to what I do and you try to do the same thing on your own rather than just replicating what I do. So here's the background of why I got interested in this particular sector. It's not a stock, it's an ETF. So ever since, Trump, I think he started maybe first term with President Trump, but now with Bobby Kennedy, there's so much pressure on pharmaceutical companies. They're just getting attacked left and right. Even food companies, like, you cannot use this, you cannot use that. I mean, Bobby Kennedy says he's not anti-vaxxer, but he questions a lot of vaccines. And believe it or not, I have a family member who used to work or still works at FDA. She even told me that, hey, the COVID is no different than cold because it just mutates so quickly. But anyway, to make the long story short, it's getting attacked. Drug prices are getting attacked, which means their profit is not going to be as great. So if you look at some of the pharma investing or companies or ETFs, it has not been doing really well. So that's my next one. But is attack over? No, it's not. So I need to figure out when is the good time for me to get in, or should I even get in? But I think eventually down the road, and I'll explain in detail, it will eventually go back up. Companies will come up with all kinds of things like the Wegovy or those diet drugs or something, like before it was Viagra. Something that will not require approval from Medicaid or Medicare, that people are willing to pay cash in order to assess them. So I think there's an opportunity. So let's go with the chart first. So this is a chart of iShare. Let me back up. iShare Pharmaceutical ETF called IHE. This one is not down as much. So let's go to chart, view chart. But you're going to realize over a long term, they've done really well. And what I'm trying to do is trying to find out if I can capture this moment, or capture this moment after it's being down, so that I can make decent amount of money. Is it over 5 years? I don't know. But I need to do some research, in-depth research, and find out when do I get in, how long am I going to stay, and what is my exit price eventually down the road. So let's look at what happened within a year. Yeah, it's been miserable, right? You could see this going up, and then after the election, tanked, and then went up a little bit, and then now they're struggling so much. And me being me, when it's down a lot, on the way up, I want 3x, right? It cannot go down any longer, so why not take a rocket ship on the way up rather than taking steps or stairs? So I'm going to look at Direxion Medical and pharmaceutical 3X fund. So let's look at, so I'm sorry, 1 year chart. It went from $10 to $5.30. It went down a lot. If you look at 5-year chart, this used to be a $31 fund. It lost a lot of money. And if you do the maximum, yeah, it used to be close to $40. So it lost incredible amount of money. You might be thinking, Ernie, why are you looking at this? So they're going to continue to get attacked. Yeah, they're getting attacked. People might have to lower, these companies might have to lower drug price, but there's something interesting about this particular industry. What is that interesting thing? These are campaign contributions by healthcare or pharmaceutical companies. Some, they're still there. Some have retired, so they don't get the money anymore. Or they don't get the funding anymore. And they are in health-related committees. Like, for example, Fred Upton, Republican, Michigan. I'm not here to discuss politics, whether it's Republican, Democrat, I don't really care. But look, there's a Republican, Fred Upton. There's a Frank Pallone from Jersey who's getting a lot of money. And now there is even a rumor that Senator Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren have received over $20 million from pharmaceutical companies. And as you'll go down there, you can see more and more as you look at this document. And all these government politicians are bought by pharmaceutical companies. So once Bobby Kennedy's gone, and we don't know, maybe Republicans are going to win, and Bobby Kennedy will continue to be the healthcare secretary. We don't know. But with this much money poured into our politicians, I think there's a good chance that they might try to block fair drug pricing that President Trump is trying to push for, so that they can continue to receive government or continue to receive campaign contribution. So knowing this, knowing how, I don't want to use this word, dirty, corrupt our government and politicians are, I think there's a good chance that lowering drug price will not stay. Even if it passes after President Trump is gone, it's going to come back. Because of it, I think the price of these pharmaceutical companies or their profit margin will go back up, and I think they're going to do better. When is this going to happen? My target is midterm election. So if the midterm election goes towards Republicans that's supporting Donald Trump's agenda, then I'm not going to get it. But if it's heading towards other direction, right? So anti-Trumpers or Democrat is taking more seats in the Congress or in the Senate, then I think it might be a good time to get into this particular ETF called PILL, P-I-L-L. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not here to talk about politics. I just know the facts, right? Facts is there's current pressure to squeeze margin, but they have invested a lot in politicians who will work on their favor. So there is a possibility. And that's the bet I'm willing to make. Please tell me what your thoughts are through the comments. And please share, repost, and like so that other people can have a good discussion on whether this is actually true and whether this investment makes sense, so that maybe we can jointly make a decision whether this is the right investment down the road. Hopefully this was useful, and hope you guys have an amazing weekend.